Alright guys, here we're talking about Ash vs. Evil Dead Season 2, Episode 7.
I love this episode.
What do you love about it?
Agree or disagree?
I didn't dislike it, that's for
You're
sure.
dodging the question. I love...
Bring it out. What do you love?
I love Elseworldy dream sequence. Like, wake up, Hercules! You're in, like, the shadow world. Like, oh, I love it so much. And having Strife there and having him play someone else made that connection so much stronger for me. Of, like, this parallel world where the characters play different people and all that stuff. I love when shows find an excuse to do this. I never expected this show to do this, but it makes perfect sense. I'm hoping that, like, once we get back to reality, this all took, like 3 seconds to happen, right? But it felt like months or years for Ash or whatever. Like, I love that so much.
The thing I think that took some of the sting out of this episode, because like I've seen this one before, so it like the first time I definitely was like, what? And things happen. I do think they played with some great elements here where it's like, okay, that's Pablo, that's not Pablo. Oh, that's Kelly, that's not Kelly. Like that kind of stuff happening.
So good.
I like that. The things that are always weird to me are the things that I'm like, okay. So, like, when he, like, falls through the walls and stuff, like, the rules not being, like, we see again where, like, the buildings are alive. I love the puppet. I think the puppet's great.
Oh, my God. The puppet was amazing. And like you said, when, like... Because, like, they do it. I ended up watching it again because I didn't take notes the first time or whatever. There are like, quick scenes when, like, Pablo's running up, before he, like, grabs Ash. It's not Pablo, the actor.
Yeah.
Right? But, like, they don't call attention to him the way they call attention to the other characters that are swapping or whatever. But, like, gaslighting Ash like this, making him think that he's crazy and all that stuff, it's so good. And, like, Strife even says, I'm just going to call him that, Ball. Let's go with that. Ball even says, like, most people after a brief discussion see things my way, but not you, right? That was that thing we talked about like 4 episodes ago. Where it's like, maybe Ash's stupidity, like Fry, will protect him from him. And he does. He's, like, in this delusion, and he's just like...
It's also his Hefe-ness.
He's like, I got you. Well, that's what I mean. Like the inner light of the Hefe / being functionally, disabled mentally.
Functionally disabled mentally.
I didn't want to say that the word you're not supposed to say anymore. But he's just strangling him. He's just like, I gotcha. And what is there's two.
He injects him in the neck.
There's 2 lines here that I loved. Fun stuff like drinking glue and sniffing booze or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm gonna kill you. It's like I killed your father.
I didn't
do that. I just sounded cool. The whole thing, because like he says it and like the line just lands, and I'm like. Because he's killed all these demons, and I'm like, wait a minute. And then while I'm doing that, he says, like, okay, that's not true, but I just thought it was cool. And it's like strangling him. I can't breathe, Ash, and all that stuff. It's so good. I love dream sequences, not sure who's real or like what's real. The moment where Kelly / Amanda's jaw is like missing, and like the puppet has it, and then it like cuts to Ash watching the footage of him doing it. Like whenever anything plays out differently than we saw it play out, I super love that, independently of like an Elseworld, Oddworld episode. So like this had so many things for me that I love so much.
Well, I love that not only is this potentially a dream within a world within a thing, but it could also just be in your head the whole time completely. Because
what do you mean?
Well, all these people, like this is not a functioning sanitarium.
No, yeah.
So all the people that are not actually Pablo, like when I'm first viewing it, I was like, now are these even real people, or is this just a person within his mind that is another person, or are these just village people that he sucked in to like be okay? You're going to be playing these parts. I have your mind.
I haven't seen this season before, so I assumed this is literally happening while Ash is like falling on the ground, right? Because at the end of last episode, the one lunch lady chick got like a long finger and was Ash, whatever. So I assume this is like what Ball does. Like we're seeing first person mode.
I don't 100% recall, but I do think they're actually at a closed down sanitarium.
Well, so we'll jump to the ending, right? So he like turns it around. He's like, "That was me. I must destroy the Necronomicon." Like he does the whole thing or whatever. But he's so, like they make a point to show that he noticed out the window that they're there. So that's the moment when I was like, "Is he really in a building? Did Ball
take him? Or did he imagine that part
I know. Too?" And well, so like I don't know what we're meant to think if he's faking it for Ball or not. I'm assuming he's faking it for Ball. But that's what made me think, like, wait, so like but they're driving up to a real building. So did Ball take him to a building to do this to him or something like that? So that's where I was like unclear. But for the whole rest of the episode, I just assumed
that was all in his mind.
This is in his mind, and I love that stuff. Whenever things like that happen, Star Trek has, Doctor Who, different people have played with that, where something happens for like a second. There's like a big flash, and everyone's like, "Whoa, what was that?" And then one character is like, "Oh my God, like I just lived years in like a space dungeon or something, some crazy thing." I love things like that, so I was hoping that's what it was. We'll see how it actually pans out.
But so like in that world where it is all in his brain, isn't that a weird mind trippy thing where it's like this fake person is posing as the real person you think they are? Like it's one extra level of Inception where you're not crazy and you're not seeing this person as somebody else. You're seeing a person that doesn't exist as a person that is
So but I love that.
It's interesting.
There's an episode of Farscape where someone's doing something to Crichton's like mind or whatever, Crichton, and people from the show are like playing different characters, and some of the characters on that show look like humans, and it's fine. Then he gets to a part where like one of the obvious alien characters is just because like the delusion is that he's back on Earth and he's safe, and he has to like give some information up about his like mission. He's trying to like get the information out of his head. So he's trying to like trick him into thinking he's back on Earth so that he feels safe to like give the information. And then like he sees this obvious alien person, and he starts laughing and being like what the hell was that? This is like this. Now I know this is fake. But then like the person's like, I'm not trying to trick you. I'm trying to drive you insane or something like that in like so many words or whatever. I was like, oh no, and it just keeps looping and getting crazier and crazier and all that stuff. And like it does not matter or whatever. And I like that like element of this where it's like Ball's like reaching around his mind finding stuff, like he finds Chet, who knows about Cheryl and all that stuff. Like, how does Ball know? Because it's all because Ash knows, right? And Ball's poking around in there with his long, pinky nail, like figuring out what's happening and like constructing this for Ash and like trying to throw him off and all that stuff. Oh, I'm a huge fan of this stuff. 10 out of 10.
I like the Ball character Strife. I like him from Hercules and stuff back in the day. And like when I first saw him in this, I haven't seen him in something in a long time. I think I might have seen him in like a movie in between Hercules and this. Yeah. But you see him, and he's like the long, flowing black hair. I was like, damn, he looks pretty good. And then when you see him as a doctor, you're like, oh, that's probably what he actually looks like now. And I was like, oh, I'm old.
It ruined the illusion for you or whatever. Yeah, they kind of got to see him up to be Ball, to be like, because he's supposed to be this like, oh, he can seduce your mind instantly. Yeah. So you can't have some frumpy like dude.
No, you need goth demon looking dude. Yeah,
you need a Hot Topic.
And he's kind of always played that character, which is kind of great too.
This gave me flashbacks, though, to those old things with Strife and how people played different characters. So, like, this definitely... Because remember, I was so disappointed that it wasn't Aeolus or whatever.
Yeah.
But now I'm fully back on board. I'm like, oh, this is great. I love all these people.
Like, 20 years ago, I wanted to do a thing where you hire Matthew Lillard and Strife because they look enough alike that they could be fun brothers in something.
Okay.
And they could still do that, I suppose, but they're not in their prime anymore.
But now it's like a grumpier old men 3 thing. Yeah, no. Or 4. I don't know how far they got in that series. Yeah, this is he had like a Brad Dourif vibe for me, honestly.
Okay.
In this. But I liked his performance a lot. His whole doctoring thing and all that stuff.
No, it all worked. He's actually this, I think, let him show a lot more of his acting range than he did as Strife, because Strife was just like a, almost a comedic type actor. He, in Cleopatra 2525, he played a jester type character, almost like the Joker, which was almost still in his wheelhouse.
I was going to say, like, that's the image that I have of him, is kind of like smiling, laughing, kind of frothing at the mouth, manically, delivering dialogue as like a jestery type dude, and I was like not into that. So that's why when I saw him
this
here,
is it's refreshing.
Like, oh, it's that guy or whatever. No, this was good.
And even getting to play multiple characters in this show's arc, it might even expand his pliability to different roles. They'd be like, oh no, look, I played a serious guy in that thing, and I did this.
See, I can do something. Is Brad Dourif busy? I can do the role of the old guy who's like, you don't know who Lee Marvin is. It's gonna be weird. All right, so we have I have a long list at the end of like things to hit. Did you have any problems with the episode? It seems like you liked it less than me. Did you still like it?
No, I enjoyed the episode. Yeah. I love the puppet. Like that.
Oh, God.
That really is what sucked me into a lot of things. Him with the thing. So what did he say? Something about he's like, oh yeah, but you got your hand up my ass or something, like some bullshit like that. He's like, that's what I was gonna say. Or
Then, so that moment when they both laugh maniacally, but I can't be magic. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to like like it's very Raimi. It's very whatever. Like there's a lot of filmmaking going on here, but it cuts to like them as shadows and the puppets laughing or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
Like it's really like the puppet made a big because like when I first saw the puppet, I'm like, what is going on here? This is so dumb. But the puppet really won me over.
It grows on you. Yeah.
That part where like he's talking and like they go bust out Kelly, who's not even Kelly. Yeah. He's like, look at her, she's filthy or whatever. Introduce me. And he's like, come on, man. And then but like she can't hear the puppet, right?
Yeah.
So she's like reacting to what he's trying to say to the puppet and all that stuff. Like that scene alone was just.
If I remember, the puppet gets even better.
Oh, the puppet's not gone?
I don't think so.
Spoiler alert.
I don't think the puppet's gone.
Okay. So I assumed this was like a one-off and we're not going to be in this delusion anymore. But it sounds like from what you're saying, I think
the next episode picks up still in the asylum.
Oh,
or my mind is broken, which has happened before.
50-50. 6-1. No problem. So we talked about people switching back and forth. I really like that. In general, and I might have mentioned this in like an earlier episode, I love the sets on this show.
Oh, yeah.
Because here, everything is so dingy and like falling apart and all that stuff. And so has like parts of Ash's house or parts of the other places, right? And like I forget based on because like we watch a fair amount of TV shows, right? I wanted to call that out as like especially here, this is like a really good set.
It was something that made me actually think where I was like, if you were to take a brand new house and have it designed in this same theory, like the same style to look old and dingy and weird, I'm like, would that be fun or would you be creeped out living there? Like, would you touch things? Like, even though it would be perfectly smooth to your actual touch.
Oh, it would just look like that?
And it looked like it was, because like that's what they're doing. They're set designers. They're painting things to look a certain way.
Okay.
And I'm like, would it be weird to be in, or would it be really cool? Like, would you be like, oh, I'm in this like Addams Family house, or would you be like grossed out all the time? Like, are there going to be roaches here?
That's interesting. I assumed so. Like, I was also thinking about this for this episode because there's a lot going on. I was like, do they mix something with the paint so that it flakes off, and then they take like a thing and like scrape down the wall to like
There's a lot of tricks.
Like,
I've watched some behind the
weird
scenes
stuff,
on things.
Like, yeah, because I was watching. I forget what scene it was, but I'm like, that looks really good. But they didn't find like an old place. I don't think, because Ash's house had the same thing for some of like the doors.
I think there's something where you're putting turpentine in the paint while you're painting it.
Yeah,
and it can't adhere.
Right.
Like
so
in
then
those
you can
sections,
just
something like that.
Take something and like rub it.
I think it will just naturally dry and buckle off. Yeah, something like that.
Well, because that's what you want is that weird buckling and chipping and falling off. Things looked so old and shitty, and then I realized like this is a TV show. Like yes, it was on like Stars or something, but it's still like wow, like, this looks great. Shock therapy is the scariest thing in the world. That keeps happening and things. Yeah,
especially when the thing falls out of his mouth and you're like, oh god, he's gonna bite his tongue off.
Yeah. Like I literally, because like it's happening and it's kind of fun, and he says, "Woo, that's like doing whippets. Let's go again." And I'm like, okay, Ash is fine, but then he keeps cranking it up and like,
and Chet melts.
And Chet gets burned to a crisp. It went on for long enough for me to like remember how many times movies use this and how it's never gotten old for me. Movies and TV. I think the idea of being in an insane asylum where you don't think that you belong there, things keep escalating until you have shock treatment is like one. I don't know if there's a German name for like a phobia of that, but I feel like something about that is so triggering.
Being bound on its own is a horror show, but yeah, being bound and tortured where you have no ability to stop it.
No, and like under the guise that they're trying to help you, this like weird combination of things, like you're helpless, you're being gaslit.
The more you try to explain, the crazier you seem. Yeah.
The deeper you go in, and you're like, well, I just have to escape, and like they catch you, and then they step up the like therapy, which is like torture, right? Oh god, something about that, right? And we got all that flavor here right in the middle of this goofy show about Bloodites.
Oh yeah, breaking out of a mental hospital. Something you should be thinking about all the time.
You always have to have an exit strategy. You have to have a plan to kill every person you meet.
It's pretty true.
Yeah. The effects were good. I really liked the jawbone missing
Yeah,
thing.
no, that was... And just having it be in Ash's mouth.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Ash's...
Puppet Ash.
Ash's impossible puppet stump hand mouth. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Like, once you realize, like, that's the hand that he doesn't have. Like, what's going on?
Well, I think in the delusion, they've
it's
bound the hand up
Yes.
to make it so that he couldn't is less effective at attacking people or something.
I don't know what
We're
he
like,
just
why
said,
wouldn't they do
like,
it to
you're
both?
violent, yeah.
You
was a weird
your
thing.
unclipped baby nails. They're razor sharp.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that, but it was a fun little thing, and then the puppet's living on his, like, stump or something like that. No, there's a lot of, like, little things that happen. Even that thing with the wall looked really weird, where he, like, falls into the wall, and the wall's, like eating his hand, and it's all slimy. And he pulls it out, and he's, like, very, whatever, getting things.
The inconsistencies and craziness of the world you're in, and the fact that it's like already a crazy world, it's very very creepy.
Well, and it's
'cause you
like,
can't really set aside. There's no rules.
No, and like anything that he ever tried to do, Ball always had control, right?
Yeah.
And like he didn't know that, so like he kept trying and doing different stuff. I love the scene where he's like, "Okay, crazies, express yourself," and like they start knocking everything over and all that business to steal the ID badge and everything.
The breaking the TV got me a little bit, where I was like, they might not replace that.
People
you
watch
might
that.
now be stuck without a TV.
Yeah. There's a great shot there, like a montage of him, like, you know, drooling, watching TV, and then, like, the light is, like, moving and the people are, like, fast motion through the thing. I love that. That's, like, you know, like a normal thing to do, but I like it a lot.
Classic cinematography.
Classic cinematography. Acting, I thought Kelly and Bruce both did a really good job here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you agree.
Kelly rubs me the wrong way sometimes, and, like...
She's been rubbing me, but here, she rubbed me right.
She has this thing where sometimes she will have like the funniest line of the episode, but other times I'm like that was a real reach. Like certain things she says, I'm like, eh.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but do you have any examples from this episode?
From this episode, no, not and in both directions. Where I don't think she's had any good lines that really stood out to me. And as far as like cringy episodes or things that didn't sell, it would be hard to really say because she didn't have many lines. She talked briefly here and there, and I thought she can play crazy okay, I guess, but a lot of that is sold based on the fact that she's just so filthy. Like you're like, I buy a lot more of what you're saying.
I liked her. I was looking at her face because I've honestly not liked a lot of her delivery, like you're saying.
Like I think she oversold her finger breaking thing. Where I was like that looked a little like the effect itself looked great. Like I'm like, yeah, that's a hand breaking. You're holding a stump or something, you're breaking a finger.
Yeah.
But just something about how she says the words. I think like a more like classically trained actor may have displayed some pain with each one too, and not just a maniacal snapping. I don't know. And again, I'm really being nitpicky here.
Those are fair criticisms. I enjoyed it though. I liked her.
I was fine with it.
She had like the crazy eyes, and she was doing weird like twitchy stuff, and I thought like she wasn't acting exactly like Kelly. Whereas Pablo wasn't really doing anything, so I was kind of like, okay, so that like stood out to me. And she's been someone who I've been like, as we've complained about, there's some issues there where they're trying to make her do stuff that I don't think's working out or whatever. But here, I like that she was doing something different at the very least, and I liked Bruce a lot. Him talking to Linda at the end, like we all love Bruce, but Bruce is like in his lane doing his thing.
Yeah.
And here, like when she reaches out for him and he like recoils and stuff like that, and when he like makes the have to go away for a long time and he's doing that stuff, like he really turned it off or turned it on or whatever you want to call it, right? He changed.
I would say off might be the appropriate.
Yeah, like
his swagger was not at 10. It was
he and like that really sells what's going on here to the audience, to Ball, to whatever. And I feel like that's super. Like without that, this whole thing's not going to work. If he ended that like speech with like a dumb like dick joke or something like that, it would have totally undercut the whole thing. But he really just delivered it, and he was acting, right? I'm like,
well, sure, but to that direct comparison, that would be the writing.
Yeah. No, I know. I'm not saying like he chose to put the joke in or not. I'm saying like he like delivered the thing.
If Bruce wants to put a joke in, he'll put the fucking joke in.
If Bruce wants to put it in, you try to stop him.
Whew. Oh, but yeah, it was not my favorite episode, but I think that's mainly because a lot of the shock and twist was taken away from me. Yeah. So I can't judge it completely fairly there. I do remember liking this episode the first time I watched it.
It might be my favorite episode. I don't know. I just love that it exists. I'm a little sad to hear that we're not back in the real world now. Like, I would have liked for him to have walked out of that room with the straitjacket and just be back in his clothes and be like, the Necronomicon, and like walk down the hallway in like the real place or something like that. But like, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do with it.
Well,
you know, I'm not gonna look at you.
I think I know, but again, it's been a few years. We'll see soon.
Yeah, I'm like eager to see where this goes now, hearing that. So we'll see.
All right, guys, that's our thoughts on this episode. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
Hello, internets. I just love watching JustDaggers. If you've enjoyed this video as much as I have, click that subscribe button. Peace out, homies.